Morning, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I've posted. I think it was, my last post was September 2018. So first of all, to any subscribers out there, sorry about that. Had a bit of medical trouble with my eyes, so it's put me out of action for a while. So I've not been fishing at all for over a year now, so this is my first trip out. So we're back at Sam's again. It's one of my favourite venues actually. So obviously top and bottom lake. Today we're fishing the bottom lake. I'm here with my son Toby today, aka Theme Park False. So give him a shout when you're next on YouTube. Yeah, so today we're carp fishing, using chickpeas as a ground bait, as a base, and fishing in the pads to my right with a pop-up, just to see how that goes. And the other one, fishing out to one of the islands, that one with a just a bottom boilie, free bait stringer on that. So we're going to see how that goes. Literally only just started fishing, it's quite late, it's like 9:45, but time is set up, get down here and set up. But you're always guaranteed something down here, so we'll see how it goes from there. This clip finds me baiting up basically, firing out some chickpeas that have been soaked in CSL dynamite liquid. Just baiting up round the island. I do end up baiting up round the pads at some point, but any loose ones I'm ended up feeding the ducks as well. Okay, this is first cast of the day. My first cast ended up being fairly tight to that island, which in hindsight I shouldn't have really done, but I was a bit excited to be getting out fishing, so that was my first cast. Just setting up the rod pod, getting it set up. These reels, just noticing they're Akuma reels, carbonite reels. They're a really good, really impressive reel, and when you buy them they come with two spools. One of the spools is empty, the other spool is preloaded with 12-pound camouflage line, which I've never really used. This is my first time I've ever used it. So, and to be honest with you, I was very impressed with the line. I wouldn't say it's completely invisible in the water, but it did help that it was camouflaged, because down Sam's the water is nearly always green, apart from in the winter when it goes gin clear. But the best part of the year, the water is green, so you do need a kind of a camouflage line. Really, it does help. drop back on that. really enough to strike at. I've just taken the slack up and see if anything develops from that. After that drop back, I'm just going to bring this one in, rebait. See, this is the rig I'm using today. It's just ounce weight, Corum, free running lead, semi-stiff, 20-pound hook link, Terry Hearn, and German rig with just a bottom bait on it. So just going to rebait. This recast was a lot better. I cast quite short of the island, probably about 10 foot of the island. Now, to be honest, in this swim, I think this is swim number 27, 26, 27. It always pays really to fish short of the island. I've found in the past that I've picked up better fish, bigger fish, short of the island. And I was always told by Mike, the owner, that when he dug the Sam's Lakes, he always dug the round the islands with a digger. So he said there's no real need to fish tight up to the islands. So he said if you fish short of the islands, you're still going to pick fish up. So that's what I felt a lot more confident on that casting about 10 foot short of the islands. Action on the left there one. To be honest, there's not a lot of action all round at the moment because people that are fishing here, I haven't heard any buzzers going, so it's pretty quiet all round, I think. This rod is now not fishing up tight to the island as I was before. I've brought it away from the island, a good 10 foot away from the island, which, to be honest, in the past has proved a bit more successful than fishing up tight to the island. So we'll see how that one works out. Due to lack of activity on the pads, I'm going to bring in the pop-up rod. I'm not really happy with it. I'm using I think it's roughly about a 20mm pop-up, which I feel is probably a little bit too big, a bit too buoyant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it for a smaller pop-up. Bring that one in. Okay, so I've taken off the 20mm pop-up that I was previously using. Wasn't having any luck on that whatsoever, and I felt probably the 20mm pop-up was a bit too big. So what I've done is I've taken that off and put on a 12mm pop-up, which is not as buoyant as the other one. So here I cast once, cast twice, but still not happy with the cast. So I'll bring it in again, and third time lucky. I think the cast is spot on the third cast. Yep, that's perfect. It's right near the pads. So stick that one in the rod pod. But obviously, as I begin to set the bobbin on that one, this happens. What's the chances of that? Quite a nice one.
Yeah.
Nice common anyway. Yeah, that's a nice one. Say it's always proved successful, like not fishing tight to the island. I've often found, if you come away from the island, Mike has always said in the past, you don't need to fish tight to the island. Here we go. That is a lovely fish. That is a nice one. Could be one of the biggest ones I've had out there. Pretty sure that is the biggest one I've had out of there. That is a cracker. Nailed in the bottom. Was on the German rig. So we'll definitely weigh that one. Very slow take. Is nearly 16 pounds. So it's 14, 15, 14. Nearly 16 pounds for it. So it's a cracking 16 pound common there. I'm well chuffed with that.
Genau.
swum away strongly. So yes, it's my biggest so far from the lake. Actually, my biggest was 14 before. So it's just up that by 2 pounds. So that's brilliant. That's a great start, and that's was 5 to 12. So I had to wait a bit for it, but that's good. Let's get the rods out again. It's been 45 minutes roundabout since I had that last fish, so nothing really. A couple of bleeps on the left hand side rod, which is the rod that I had the fish on. I'm surprised the pad rod hasn't gone yet. It's, I would have thought on a day like today, where the sun's been in and out, it's perfect weather actually for fishing, for carp fishing. It's a little bit overcast, it's sunny at times. Yeah, I thought it would have been a bit, you know, the pad rod would have been the favoured rod, but it doesn't seem to have worked out like that. So, but we'll persevere with the both rods. I'm using the same flavour buoy on both rods at the moment, and I'm using chickpeas as a base, as a particle around it. So we'll see how it goes. But if obviously if we have anything else, I'll keep you updated. Touch on the left hand rod again. That's it, out midway between the island and the bank. I don't know if it was a line bite or kind of went up, stayed up, went back down again. So to be honest, I don't think the pop-up route is working, to be honest, because I've not had a touch on pop-up at all. So I'm going to ditch the pop-up and go for a bottom bait. I'm going to go for a bottom bait, but I'm also going to I've made up a little bit of stick mix, which I'm going to attach, stick on it as well. So I'll get back to you when I've sorted that out. This is the stick mix I've made up. It's a stick mix I've made up myself to match the flavour of the boilie. So I'm just going to put this out near the pads. You only get one go with this. So. Hopefully that might do the trick. See what happens. First time I've used stick mix here, so bring it on. Well, it's 2:15 at the moment. It's very quiet. I've been looking around the lake, various other people, watching other people fish, and it's just, to be honest, it's just not a lot going on. To be fair, it's very quiet all round. I'm just sitting here discussing things, mulling things over with my son, trying to make something happen really. I mean, I know I had that fantastic comment earlier. I'm still well chuffed with that, but I think it was kind of a one-off. So what I've done is I've made up a couple of stick mixes and put them on, just attached them through the hook really, nothing fancy. One in the pads and one out again, sort of midway between the island and the bank where I'm fishing. And it's just, I don't know, it's not, I wouldn't say I can't say it's boring. It's not boring because it's fishing, but it's just, I would have expected a little bit more than what's been happening today. So, you know, it's just one of them things. You come down and you take your chances really. But I'm hoping, I mean, it's only 2:15, so I've still got the afternoon to go yet. So I'm hoping it will be, I mean, fish, there's activity. I mean, I just heard a fish jump then. So they're in the pads, they're jumping in the pads, but it's just not really geared up for any surface fishing today really. So no, I gave up on the pop-ups. I don't think the pop-ups were working today. So let's just have a little go and see what happens with the bottom stuff. Persevere with what I'm doing at the moment. Hopefully, just had a jumping take on the well, I don't know if it was a take. I think it's more of a line bite really, but it's showing that there's fish in the area around the pads. So we just recast that one actually. It's only been out about 10 minutes. So it's a pretty good sign. I mean, it's been quiet all day, but now it's around about the time that things normally sort of come alive here, because it's always been a sort of a late afternoon water really. So yes, hopefully it's a good sign. Bit of interest in the left hand rod there, as I thought things might be livening up a bit. This one was cast fairly close to the lily pads on the island in the middle there. I didn't really intend to do such a close cast, but as it was sort of more or less spot on, I thought, oh well, I'll leave it. I don't really like fishing too close to the island. As I said before, I like to be, you know, at least 6 foot away from the island, something like that. But on a day like today, you tend to sort of try anything really. So I kind of left it there, and so there must be fish in the area around the pads. Let's see what happens with this. This unfortunately was the result of a take on the pads rod. I don't know what happened here. I think the line, when I struck, the line didn't come cleanly out the bobbin. It got snagged, and for some reason there must have been a little bit of play in the line, and it went behind the spool. So all in all, it was a bit of a cock up really. So I completely missed that take. Bugger. might be a mirror. This bite came out of the blue, really. Wasn't expecting everything on an otherwise fairly slow day. This one came out of the blue. So you'll see a bit later on that the fish spends a bit of time on the surface as I'm bringing it in, and thought I'd actually foul hooked it. So that was one of my worries, but it proved not to be. I think it might be a mirror. Feels nice. Just a word of warning, when you're fishing off of these jetties, it is always awkward, or it can always be a fear that the fish, when you play them under the rod tip, that it could swim in between one of the legs of the jetty. Then you're going to be in trouble. So it always pays to try and keep the rod further out and try and keep the fish away from the legs of the jetty. Nice one. Cracking mirror, that one. Hold in the bottom again on the German rig. Unfortunately, on both the fish, the common and this mirror, the mouths were in terrible condition. They'd obviously been caught quite a few times before, and anglers were obviously very careless with removal of the hook. But it's other than that, the fish themselves were in quite good condition. £10, just over 10, 10.2, £10 2 ounces. Nice one. Another result. Had to wait for it though, in ages since the last one. But £10 2 ounces, so, and it's a mirror as well, so it's, there's not many mirrors in here really. So, but yep, excellent. Another result. Well, it's so just gone 5. We'll probably call it a day soon. I mean, the fishery at the moment, because of this COVID-19 business, the fishery is closes at 7, opens at 5:30 in the morning, closes at 7. So I mean, we've given it a fair whack today really, to be honest. But there's a few people turning up now, but they just fish in the evening times, which to be honest is probably the best time for down here. So I'll probably give it another half an hour or so, I think, and then probably call it a day, have a slow pack up, leave one rod out. But it's been okay today. I mean, I had a cracking common for 16, and then I had a £10 2 ounce mirror, sort of later on. So it's been slow, it's been hard, it's been a bit of a slog today, but still been enjoyable, still caught fish. Very rarely blank down here at Sam's. So, but yeah, so we'll if I get anything else, I'll do another little update. But other than that, it's not been too bad. Sun's been shining anyway, at least. Oh well, it's about that time. It's always that time we dread. Time to pack up, and it's always the worst part of the day. But no, it's been a good day. Really enjoyed it. Had my son with me. He's been doing all the filming for me. So big shout out to old theme park folks for helping me out. Yeah, it's been good. It's been enjoyable. It's been a lovely day today. Been in short sleeves all day, so it's not been cold at all. Picked the sunny side of the lake really, but only had 2 fish today, but I'm well chuffed with what I've had. I've had a 16-pound common and a 10-pound mirror, so excellent day's fishing really, to be honest. Can't moan at that, but it's just a shame we didn't get a few more runs. I mean, you wouldn't have minded losing fish if you were getting runs, but didn't get them in the end. So this is normally the best part of the day, so a bit gutted to be packing up now. But because of this COVID business, it's the fishery shuts at 7, so that's the rules. You know, rules is rules. So, but other than that, hopefully I'll be doing a few more vlogs now that I'm sort of back in the fishing sort of game. Apologise for not doing any posts since 2018. I'm well surprised that was my last vlog, but you know, medical reasons I couldn't do it, couldn't get out. So. Thanks again for watching, hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.